Reverend Natasha.
Oh, thank you, Sylvia.
Isn't that need to be inimitable?
That's very cool. I
can't
don't
say
think
it more
I've
than-
ever been called that before. One could imagine that in wonderful and challenging ways, but hopefully we'll be leaning into the wonderful today. So welcome everybody to this Sunday service today, August 9th, on this amazing, gorgeous San Diego day. And, I was just mentioning to Mava, this is one of the challenges, if you're a minister, of speaking on a Sunday, because who wouldn't rather be at the beach today, right? Including me. Thank you for that observation. Yes, we do have air conditioning, so that's a good thing. So welcome all of you who are gathered here in the sanctuary this morning. Welcome all of you who are joining us online today, and welcome to all of you who may join us at another time. We are so happy to be together here this morning at Om Center for Spiritual Living with all of you. And we are going to be exploring some interesting topics this morning. I'm not going to say much more about it than the official title is Learning to Live Courageously, but the subtitle is Using Fear as a Flashlight. And I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. So I'm getting a signal, and I don't know what it means, Steve, so you're going to have to tell me. Thank you. So now we're going to move into our opening song. So I invite you to stand and join us.
And I and the band will lead you.
Thank you, Joe.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide.
Yes,
I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Clap your hands. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Thank you, Joe Rathburn, our wonderful musician here
the
with us
Invisibles.
today. And the Invisibles.
Can't forget those.
Don't.
They'll walk out if you forget them.
All right. We're going to move into our meditation and invocation. Martin, if you could advance our slide. And please welcome Mava.
Prayers can only be answered when they no longer remain prayers, when they turn into a feeling of relief that can be answered. Prayers are answered when you assume the feeling that will accompany the fulfillment of those prayers. It is all based on belief, concrete, solid belief, also called conviction and certainty. What is real to us determines what will be seen by us. Prayers are the transformation of the unseen to the seen. As we are in stillness together today, I invite you to reflect on this thought. I assume the feeling of my wish fulfilled, and I continue with that feeling. until my feeling objectifies itself. I gently invite you to come back and be more aware of your surroundings and the sound of my voice. The beach is a safe and sacred place, and so is this. You are surrounded by divine beings who have a river, an ocean of the divine living within them. This is what makes it possible to be here and know that you are absolutely loved and accepted. Everyone here is part of a community of fellowship. Whether they're online, halfway across the globe, they're right in front of me, you're surrounded by them, or whether they look at this later, always know that you're an important part of this community. You are truly loved here. Today, I invite you to feel that love. I'm grateful for the molecules of the internet that only Martin knows how to organize so we can be here today with everyone. I look forward to the wise words of Reverend Natasha, who's going to guide us through the subject of courage in her inspirational way and take us through the days ahead. And the music, well, the music, what can I say? I'll use a quote by Jimi Hendrix. He said, "Music doesn't lie. If there's something to be changed in the world, then it can only happen through music. And we have the best here today." I know in my heart that I'd rather be here than the beach, actually. So, and I know that everything here flows. It's organized. It's beautiful. From the people who put out the cookies, the people who straighten out the chairs, the people who make the pots of coffee. We're all one. We're all important. I allow today to flow with perfection. I align with that. I allow it to be so. And there's only one more thing to do, and that is to say with me, and so it is. And now we're going to have some more music from Joe Rathburn and his Magical Mystery Tour.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I have a Beatles concert coming up on the 22nd of this month at Vision down in Mission Valley with my friend Peter Boland, and we're going to be doing a tribute to the Beatles and an acoustic stripped down tribute to the Beatles. So you're all invited to that. If you want to find out how to get tickets, just go to joerathburn.com, and there'll be something there directing you to it. And I thought I'd do some Beatles today. So here we go.
Love, 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 love.
There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. With me. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. There's nothing you can know that isn't known. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. No way you can be that isn't where you were meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. One more time. All you need is love. All together now. All you need is love, everybody. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. 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 She loves you. She loves you. She loves you. Loves you. Thanks for singing.
Oh, wow, that was beautiful, Joe. Thank you so much. What a wonderful way to start our time together. Some things are just classics, aren't they? It doesn't matter how many times you've heard them, they just lift up your spirits. So thanks so much for sharing that. Okay, we will get to that in a second. But this month, our theme, I'm not sure who comes up with these themes, but our theme this month officially is the fear and the furious. I'm not going to go down that movie reference, but we are going to talk about fear a little bit today. And as I said at the beginning, the title of my talk this Sunday is Learning How to Live Courageously, or Fear is a Flashlight. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. And it occurred to me as I was sitting just a moment ago that perhaps I did not introduce myself to everyone in case there are people joining us today for the first time. So my name is Reverend Natasha Eckholm, and I'm a staff minister here at Ohm. So for all of you who I haven't gotten to meet yet, thank you, Joe. I just wanted you to know who I was. Okay. So this week we're going to explore the idea that emotions that we sometimes think of as problems, like fear, right, and something that we ought to try to avoid, right, or ignore or overcome, might actually be helping us. What if we thought about those kinds of feelings as tools or doorways for something, for some possibility that we haven't thought about yet? Last week, Reverend Michelle and Reverend Suzette shared with us some thoughts about what this whole adventure of life is about. And Reverend Michelle shared a wonderful story about discovering the divine in herself and the power of an affirmation. And I really loved that story because the affirmation that someone gave her was to be guided to know how, to know her own divinity, no matter how beautiful it is. And this was such a wonderful statement to me because it's sort of like that, I think Marianne Williamson quote, right? What we're afraid of is not our own, how small we are. What we're afraid of is really how big we are, right? That amazingness inside of us. And she reminded us that we don't face our difficulties alone, that there is always a greater wisdom, love, strength that is the divine within us, that is completely prepared to support us in facing anything that we experience, right? That we are ordinary human beings, all of us, learning how to live an extraordinary life. Yeah, that's a really powerful idea to me. And Reverend Suzette shared this crazy story about being hacked, right? Talk about sort of the challenges of the modern life, right? The things you don't see coming, all of the ways that it complicates things. But she reminded us of something really important, and something I often forget, is that we are built for transformation. And I really love that idea. Every single person here, every person joining us, every person that you see anywhere at any time is a human being built for transformation. And I think if we think about ourselves in that way and everybody else, that kind of puts a pause to some of the assumptions that we make about who we are and how things work. And she reminded us that every obstacle is an invitation. Now, I don't know about you. I have to admit, I often do not think of obstacles as invitations when I run into them on the street. Anybody else feel that way? Yeah, sometimes. And that really resonated with me because sometimes I think about those issues of obstacles a lot, and some of you know that I work as a palliative care chaplain, so I talk with people every single day, multiple times a day, who are facing a really big obstacle, a really big challenge, something that is not simply a physical challenge, but a very profound spiritual and existential challenge. And how we navigate coming to terms with the actual sort of daily realities of what those challenges are and how we support ourselves and each other becomes a really important question. So what they shared last week really resonated for me, and I've been thinking about it all week. Ernest Holmes tells us And if you could advance the slide, please, now. Thank you. So you know that I always like to start talking about one of the principles from our Declaration of Principles, and this is one. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God. And what I love about this is that it is both the individual and the totality at the same time, right? We each have an individual soul, we each have an individual spirit and an individual destiny in our own individual spiritual journey, and yet the life of all is God, right? The metaphor that I love is that ocean, right? God is the ocean, we're all the little drops, right? So we are not the totality, but we are the essence, because we share that. That divine works through us. So this is a special weekend for me, because today is my 12th anniversary. So 12 years ago, my husband Wendell and I got married at Kate Sessions Park, which is a spectacular place. If you haven't been there, please go. It has the most amazing view in all of San Diego. And it was a really wonderful day. And one of the things that I'm most grateful for in my relationship with Wendell is how the teachings, what I have learned from the teachings of the science of mind, and how we have lived together, have taught and supported me to more fully express the person that I am, to connect with more awareness to my own divine authenticity. I spent a lot of my younger life hiding. As a child, I had this is the hindsight understanding, right? I had undiagnosed ADHD. I felt I was too much and not enough all of the time. You're too sensitive, my family would tell me. You need to pay attention, my teachers would tell me, right? I felt like criticism was all around me all the time. And so I learned to hide and to try to be like someone else, the person I imagined someone else wanted me to be like in whatever moment I was. And I also learned to be my own greatest critic, which I do not recommend as a job. But in a very real way, I learned to live with fear 24/7. Right? I was always afraid of what I was going to do wrong, because there was inevitably somebody who was going to tell me I was doing something wrong. And so I lived in a state of hypervigilance, and it started so young that I had no idea that that was fear. That was just, how you live. That's just how things are. I had no conscious awareness of the physical sensations, right? Maybe, shallow breath, tension in the body, all of those things, which I have now learned, that's a fear response. But then it was just survival, right? And as kids, we don't have ways to make sense of this. We just do our best to get through. Anyway, as you can imagine, this is a very stressful way to live. But, in that strange way that we are as human beings, I didn't realize that this was a problem until later in my life as things went along. And I began to realize the way that fear had impeded me in my work, in my relationships. And it ultimately wasn't until the end of my first marriage that I really started to think about, okay, sort of, who am I really? Who do I want to be? How do I want to live? And it was around that same time that I discovered the teachings of the science of mind. Entirely through an accident, if some of you have heard me share before, found a book on a table at the Escondido Public Library, right? Every saint has a future. Wait, how is it? Every saint has a past and every sinner has a future, right? That's a book by Terry Cole Whitaker. She's a minister in our movement. And it was one of those things where you pass by a title and you go, what is that? So I checked the book out and I read it and I didn't understand it at all. But I was curious, I was intrigued. And that's what led to my first visiting one of the religious science communities here in San Diego. But through my studies, and this is actually how I met Reverend Suzette when she was an intern in her ministerial journey. Through my studies of the works of Ernest Holmes, by taking our classes and reading books by other spiritual teachers like Michael Beckwith, I began to realize how much work I had to do, how I needed to release the beliefs about myself and the nature of the world around me so that I could really be my fully authentic self. It was completely terrifying. How do you do this? I had no idea. And I was also terrified about the idea of ever being in a relationship again. I had no idea who I actually was, so how could I really understand anybody else? I imagined that I would never be in a relationship again in that moment. Michael Beckwith says this. He says, you are at a choice point in every moment of each circumstance, each activity, spoken word, and thought. And for the first time, I started to realize that that is where power lies, is in choice. And I might not know what to do or how to respond, but that I could exercise choice, and that could be a way that I could learn to have more life of the kind that I wanted to have. And I was both encouraged and a little freaked out because, man, how hard is this work? This seemed so big to me. And I admit, oh, excuse me. Things that's challenging about our teaching sometimes is that we're really into homework. I don't know if you've noticed that, right? We like classes. We like the fact that we need to practice. We need to learn. But that seems to be the way that it works out the best. Brené Brown describes fear as an immediate reaction to danger, right? The tiger that's going to jump out. Excuse me. And anxiety is more about worrying about the future. I don't know how important it is to really draw that distinction, aside from just acknowledging that that sort of idea of fear and worry shows up in a lot of different ways in our lives. So Gerald May is a doctor and spiritual teacher who says this. He says, the basic lesson is this: fear is not an enemy, but a friend. Fear is something good and alive and alert that is wild within us. It may be a response to danger, but it is in and of itself not dangerous. On the contrary, it is life energy sort of standing up on its toes right here, saying, pay attention, right? Pay attention. So that your senses are activated, right? Your muscles are poised. You're ready to take action. Sort of circling back to that idea of your power is in your action, right? So here, that is the potential, right? That is the moment of potential. And Suzette talked about this a little bit last week when she talked about the possibilities that are presented by a problem or an obstacle. So he's, oh, I'm so sorry. When fear comes, he says, let us neither tighten ourselves against what we're feeling or become paralyzed by it, but let us live into the bright, sane responsiveness that makes fear possible. Let us welcome fear for the friend it is, for what it teaches and serves. So when we feel the hairs on the back of our neck bristling for no reason, when we sense that unexplainable sort of shakiness, don't deny it or call it neurotic. Welcome it and see what it's trying to show you. Could you advance the slide, Martin? Ernest Holmes says, if anyone should ask whether or not the divine has any intention for them, the answer would be that the only intention, if each person is truly an individual, would be to allow the individual the freedom to discover themselves. There is no everything for everybody. There is what is right for you. There is who you are as an individual, authentic expression of the divine. And that ultimately is our life journey, isn't it? Is to explore that, figure it out, learn to know what that means for us, right? How do we embody our authenticity? How do we embody our authenticity authentically? Authentically, that sounded a little weird, but how do we embody who we really are, right? So, circling back for a moment to the story I was telling you about, 12th anniversary journey to find something new. As I said, I was terrified. How do I do this? And I learned that through taking classes, doing readings, the supportive community, all of these things, very important for starting to think about who am I and who do I want to be in relationship? What kind of relationship do I want to be able to have? Not only with a possible partner in the future, but just with people in general, which required me to face my fear. And by saying face it, I don't mean simply fix it, overcome it. I meant be curious about it. What is it that I am afraid of, right? And one of the things that I came to understand is that I was afraid of being perceived as unworthy for love, right? Because my whole childhood had been about all the things that were wrong with me. And I say this not as a criticism of my parents or my teachers or people. That's kind of a social thing that we live in, right? Expectations of how people are. I just didn't know how to navigate that. And who knew that I had this quirky neurodivergent brain that, needed to do things the way that it did. But the point is that rather than thinking about fear as something bad, I began to learn how to think about fear as something possibly useful. And I recently read this idea that you could use fear as a flashlight rather than a stop sign, right? And I really loved that idea. If you can shine the light on it, what can you learn about yourself and what choices you can make to be in the place you'd rather be, right? And that really brings us back to this whole idea of fear as a way of supporting our transformation. If we understand that the objective of our entire spiritual life is transformation, which is to say, not becoming something different, just becoming more fully what we are, right? I think that's really, really important, to be fully everything that you have arrived on the planet to be, that you have arrived to share in yourself and to share with others, to bring your gifts forward. So fear, a flashlight, a catalyst. Could you advance the slide, please, Martin? For me, the symbol that came up is this idea of a compass. Now, I don't know, flashlight, compass, are they connected? For me, the way that they're connected is in that guidance that you can give yourself, right? So thinking about fear as a flashlight is how you shine a light, and thinking about the compass is what direction do you want to go in once you've shined light, right? No, I don't want to go that way. Hey, I'm going to go this way. And this, going this way, is what is going to be most in alignment with who I am and what's most important. So in this way, fear can be a teacher, right, rather than a tyrant. It can be a positive emotion, and the way that we address this, or the way that we engage it and access it, is through curiosity. Now, we have some weird ideas about curiosity in our culture. We've all heard, curiosity killed the cat, right? But what if, right, these things that we think of as maybe difficult, dangerous, complicated, are really the things that help us the most? So fear is a flashlight. Curiosity helps us to think about things in new ways, not simply to go along with the way that things have always been, the way that other people told us that they should work, right? So that opens up new opportunities and new doors. It also brings up something that I had to and continue to learn about. Martin, can you advance the slide? Pema Chodron says to us, the spiritual journey involves going beyond hope and fear, stepping into unknown territory, continually moving forward. And let me say that the word that is missing from that, but that it brings up, is discomfort. Has anybody else noticed that when we start to explore the unknown, it can get really uncomfortable? And have you also noticed that we are a culture that really wants to avoid the uncomfortable at all possible costs? Right? You know, whether it's physical discomfort, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with taking Tylenol or aspirin, but you know, we want to get it over. We want to get it over as fast as we can. If it's emotional discomfort, don't tell me your problems. I don't want to get upset. Don't upset me. Don't upset your mother. Don't upset your neighbor, right? We don't want anybody to be upset. We don't want things to be difficult. We are bombarded 24/7 with devices and tools and all sorts of advice about how to avoid discomfort. And yet, the ironic thing is, that is the only way we grow, right? We grow through discomfort. That is that term, the growing edge, right? Sometimes we talk about growing pains. We know that that is the reality of our bodies. And honestly, it is also the reality of our souls. We grow through discomfort. And please understand, I am not suggesting that suffering is necessary. There's a difference between discomfort and suffering, right? So no, suffering is not required. Yes, discomfort probably is going to come along with the process. If what your goal is, if what your desire is to grow as a spiritual being, there will be some discomfort, right? And when I started this journey, my own journey in science of mind, I would have told you that it was entirely ridiculous to imagine that I would be standing here talking in front of a group of people, because I had built my life around the idea of avoiding anybody noticing me, right? And it used to be kind of a joke, right? Professional wallflower. That was my term for myself. Because, you know, the more that nobody notices you, the less danger you are in, right? That was how I felt about things. And little by little, I began to learn that there might be some benefit in that discomfort. I began to learn that even if I was feeling scared, that there was something to learn and see and understand. So that process of introspection, right, of reflection, really began to become something much more powerful for me. And I know that all of you know this at some level. You can't be here now and not have an idea of that. But I just want to affirm and encourage you to continue wherever you are in that journey, because so much amazing things can happen when you really embrace that discomfort. You know, when I started this journey 15 years ago, I worked in a totally different field. I was not in a relationship. I honestly, as I said earlier, thought I was never going to be in one, because, oh my God, you know, how could I be in a relationship? I had no trust in my own understanding of myself. Forget about somebody else, right? But this spiritual journey gives us the opportunity to explore those possibilities. And one of the ways is through some really wonderful advice that I came across in a poem. And I want to tell you, this is actually our wedding invitation, which is a stanza from a Mary Oliver poem illustrated by my daughter, who, although she was a little skeptical about the whole project of remarriage, of having a step-parent, embraced us to illustrate this. So how do we do this exploration process? So Mary Oliver says this in her poem called Sometimes. 3 things. Pay attention, be astonished, and tell about it. Right? The first one, right, seems obvious, but what do we pay attention to in the course of a busy day? I got to get to work on time. I've got deadlines at work to accomplish. Oh, I've got to stop at the store and get food to cook. I better remember to send my aunt a birthday card. I mean, you name it. There's a million little things that we pay attention to all the time. But are we paying attention to what's happening inside? Are we paying attention to the cues that we receive from that inner wisdom inside us, like fear, like worry, or even like anger, right? Are we paying attention? And if we notice them, are we taking the next step to be curious about what is it? What is that feeling telling me? What is that feeling inviting me to think about the possibilities of, right? I really love the second line. Be astonished. Because that is sort of, for me, the moment where I realized that life wasn't simply an experience to be endured. It's an experience to be amazed about. It's an experience to celebrate. It's an experience, even in its most difficult moments, that has the most heartbreaking dimensions, but also joyous dimensions, all at the same time. And that we were designed to hold both of those things at the same time. I know it seems crazy. I know it seems overwhelming. And yet it is, I believe, the nature of our spiritual beings. And finally, the last one, tell about it. So why is that important? Because when we share that experience with each other, with the people that we love, with the people that we choose to join in community with, we are not only strengthening those understandings for ourselves, but we are supporting everyone else, because we create that environment where we can all share this incredible human experience together. As Reverend Michelle said, we can all be ordinary human beings creating an extraordinary life, right? And that is where transformation is really happening. That's how transformation happens here at Om Center for Spiritual Center, in community, as we share together. So let's move forward one more. Okay. So this week, choose one fear that keeps showing up. Oops, there we go. Big or small, and turn toward it. And get curious. Ask yourself what clarity this fear might be pointing to. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to solve it. You don't have to overcome it. Simply walk with it. Practice naming it, breathing through it, and seeing what wisdom it holds. Let fear become a flashlight rather than a red light. Yeah? So to conclude my story, after 4 years of working through a lot of these things, and let me just say, this is the really annoying part about life, is that it's never over and done with, right? It's a continuous project. But I met someone who I could share all of this with. I met someone who I could tell about it. And that truly was the first time that in relationship I had ever felt like I could be myself. However difficult, annoying, confusing, dizzy, brilliant, whatever you want to say in any second of the day, that I could be myself. And it was transformative, right? It was amazing. I wish this blessing on each and every one of you. Yeah, yeah. So, I just want to conclude by inviting all of you to be curious, to embrace who you are, to embrace how you feel. I know the talk title had the word courageously in it. I don't know, sometimes I don't think of myself as a courageous person per se. I think we all are courageous, and yet we all are simply people doing the best we know how to do, right? And we have this whole thing, right? We valorize courage, we denigrate cowardice. I am not making that argument here. I am just saying, be fully yourself, and that is the courage that you need to embrace that. And know that this is a safe place always, here at home, to be yourself, right? So, with all of that, I just, again, invite you to welcome all that you experience, knowing that there is something greater yet to be in every moment of that experience. And I just want to conclude today with a short treatment. So I just ask you to join me in the light. So simply recognizing that presence of the divine, always here, always right where we are, always choosing to move itself in, as, and through each and every being throughout all of its creation. I speak my word this morning simply to recognize the incredible beauty that is the divine, the incredible love and power and wisdom and strength and support that is that profound bedrock understanding that God is all there is, and that one that chooses to express itself in, as, and through each one of us. And I speak my word this morning simply to know that each beloved is guided in this and every moment unfolding to know their true wholeness, to know their true authenticity, that they are guided with love and strength and wisdom to fully express that which they are as individuals and collectively in community. I know that this path unfolds easily and freely and joyously for each one, and that anything that appears to impede it, any difficulty, any obstacle, any challenge, has no power, but dissolves, falls away easily. And I speak this word knowing that each and every beloved is fully supported in this journey in the extraordinary, in the perfect extraordinariness of life. And so I simply raise up these words with a sense of peace and confidence and gratitude, knowing that they are spoken into the law, they are already done. And all that is needed to complete this is to say, and so it is. All right. Namaste. Thank you. Let's welcome back Joe.
I think it serves to point out, before I play this song, that the Mary mentioned in it was Paul McCartney's mother.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. When all the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. Although they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer. Let it be. 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 There will be an answer. Let it be. Oh, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be. When the night is cloudy, there's still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Oh, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Oh, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. 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 There will be an answer. Let it be.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, we are now at our time of giving and receiving. So there should be envelopes and cards nearby your seat. If you don't see one, please raise your hand and our folks will get something to you. Please, I invite you to write any prayer requests on the index cards. We will pray over them this morning as well as throughout the week. And if you have any gift or tithe to offer, please put it in the envelope. If it's cash, please write your name on it so that we can keep track. And I'm going to give the baskets out over here. So while everybody is preparing, I'm just going to say hi to the folks joining us online. I see Sharonda and Dee and Lucille and Jody. And if they are listening, they can show themselves if they want to. Hey, Sharonda and Dee. Hi. Nice to see you all. All right, and I'm going to, hey, Jody. All right, I'm going to just briefly read a few announcements, and Mava's going to come up and tell us, no, not. Okay, never mind. Apparently next Sunday, the 16th, there is a clothing exchange and potluck happening after service, so please bring clothes that you'd like to donate. And there's information in the back about the different activities taking place here at home during the week. that include Recovery International meetings, Dare to Stay Young with Fun, Sound Bath Healing Meditation, Al-Anon, Project Angels Study Group with Spencer, and don't forget Saturday's Consciousness Cafe with Candace and the Zoom book study. And one more. Ah. Okay, so in case you couldn't hear it, there is a journaling, a spiritual journaling project happening after service today. It's ongoing, but the group is continuing, so please feel welcome to join them. Well, we did that last week, yeah, so come ahead, thank you. And the theme for the spiritual journaling is beauty today, thank you. Mama, do you want to join me for the prayer? Okay, so, sure. Okay, well here. And before we go into the prayer, I have also a message to make an announcement about donating used suitcases for kids who are exiting foster care, etc. So if you have any extra suitcases you're not using, please feel welcome to bring them to home so they can be used. Okay, did you want to go ahead? Just take, sure. All right.
Beings, we're extremely lucky every day on the spiritual path to experience universal law, the law of asking and receiving, knocking, and the door opens. And I know today with these prayer requests that they are instantly answered from the moment they're thought of to the hand that holds the pen. Before the pen touches the paper, they are answered. I know today there is world peace, no matter what the appearance might be. There is communication, appreciation, and respect for all humanity. And of course, the Padres are now in the prayer basket again. I know that people desire more inner peace and trust in divine healing, and they have that. It fills them. They know that they are healed. That if anyone is suffering physical difficulties or challenges, that their life is filled with happiness, joy, serenity, and love, and peace. There's a river of the divine within this person, and they can feel it. That there is peace, love, and light to all, absolutely everyone in the world. There is a prayer for those who have lost someone, and God will help them through it. It's a time of reflection, a time of appreciation, and a time to heal. I just allow these prayers to be answered, and I pass the light to Reverend Natasha.
And to these words I add the following, that there is healing for anyone who has been in an accident, who is recovering from surgery, who has had a fall, for anyone who is facing challenges. I speak my word knowing that any fears that surface are simply ways to help to identify the strengths that we have within us. I speak this word to know that we are never alone, but that the divine is always within us and supporting us through all that we experience. I speak this word to know blessings for all of the people that we love. And I speak this word again to acknowledge that as we acknowledge things we experience, whether it be fear, that we acknowledge it, we bless it, we let it go, and we use it as a guide. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to affirm the truth of all that we are. And together with Mava, we release these prayers, we release these truths into the law, knowing that they are already absolutely done. And join us in saying, and so it is. And I also simply acknowledge the blessing of these gifts. I know that as each person has given, that these gifts are pressed down and multiplied and are circulated again through all of our experience. I thank you for all of the ways that you support OHM through your gifts and tithes and your presence, for that is truly the most important thing. And so it is, and now I'm going to invite everybody to stand up and join me in our OHM affirmation, and then we'll sing the peace song. All right. So let us begin. I am an expression of God, born into the richness and abundance of the indwelling presence. Today I walk upon my world, consciously creating my oneness within and around me. And so it is. All right. Amen. Okay.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, I make this my joyful vow. To take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody who participated in the service. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Emma and Steve. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.